Hey guys, it's Nathan. I just wanted to share like a new update that's actually come from Apple on the operating system, and just share like a few productivity applications and hacks that I've been using recently. Not hacks so much, but more like automation. Just generally ways of working more productively that I found work for me. So Apple have released their new operating system, which is called Monterey, and it's really quite good. Now you're able to use shortcuts. If you're not aware of what shortcuts is, it's Apple's built-in automation. So you can actually run automations from your iPhone. I suggest you look into it there. It's somewhat basic in terms of the pre-built automations, but to be honest, I do use it every single day for various different things. And the way that I actually use it most is on the Apple Watch. You can send API requests. So whenever I have an idea for something I need to do, I have a note, I can use Siri to dictate whatever I talk to the Apple Watch, and it will just be added in on Notion. And this is just such a great way with I don't know, the system is only as good as the information you feed it, right? And to be able to easily to have the most simple way of feeding information, no matter where I am, no matter when an idea pops into my head, it just really improves the Notion system that I built. So I have this on my phone, I have it on my watch, and now I even have it here as well. So essentially what we're talking about is sending API requests. So what I really like is that now you can just click a button and send an API request to Integromat. So maybe there's information that you want quite frequently, how many visitors are on your website, or some analytics, how many LinkedIn messages have you set today. Without you needing to open up Airtable and check this information, you can just send an API request. So we'll just build something really quickly. Test API request, and we're going to do get contents of URL, but this also works on get contents of a web page. So let's set up a webhook here. And for some reason, people are always scared off by webhooks, and I'm really not sure why. Essentially, it's just, this is a URL that you now own, that you can ping over any data that you want to. So now if I run this and I put name equals Nathan, let's run that. Now if I ping this from my laptop, that data has now been synced over to Integromat. So that could be used, for example, just to trigger, I don't know, whatever you want to trigger. Pull some information from Stripe, for example, how much revenue have you made today, any number of things. And then if you want to send back the data, you're going to do in the body. So just as a super simple example, we can just send back what the current time is. But you can adjust that to send back any information that you want, which I think is, I don't know, is really good. Now on top of that, of course, maybe you don't also want to send over the name, your name the whole time. You want to send something dynamically. So you can put information from, in fact, I've not even used this on here, but on your phone, you can send over any information, how many steps you've taken and so on. Suggestions, get address. I think that they'll also allow you to do input, for example. So ask for input. So we can put what do you want to ask? Maybe you just want to make a new record in Airtable or something. You can put this will then be show more. We want get interesting. How do we... Perhaps it needs to be added in after. Anyway, there will be a way. I've just embarrassed myself because I can't find it. But there will be a way to add in that. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be something like variable name. Get contents of URL text. Anyway, okay, it doesn't want to work for us now, but we will. I'll find out how you do it. Pin private setup showing. Anyway, so what you can also do is you can pin in menu bar, you can pin it on your touch bar, so that you can run it from wherever you want, and you can also add like a keyboard shortcut that will trigger this to run. Now, so that's like just like the first. I don't know. It's just something that I think is really interesting. As you can see, like I've only actually just started playing around with this today. But I really like it so far, and I've built a few like automations that I'm happy to share. Now, on to like some other apps that I've been playing around with. I'm just going to basically give like a really solid review for this tool. As far as I know, I was one of their first users, and this is, if anyone's used Alfred, it's not quite as powerful as Alfred because it's early stages, but I love like the interface of it and everything that they do. So it's almost like an operating system for your cloud applications. So by cloud applications, I pretty much mean like your SaaS tools that you work with. So you can connect any number of tools: Figma, Zoom, Google Drive, GitLab, Dropbox, Gmail, anything like this, Notion, LinkedIn, Intercom, Stripe. And it allows you to search. For example, I can search my inbox and it will just trigger like the shortcut to go in and search for it. It also tracks all of my most recently viewed Notion pages. I can do send Slack message. I can do send superhuman email. It just adds in a ton of shortcuts. It's got 90 days of my like clipboard history. By clipboard, I mean like my copy and paste history. So I'm sure most people have had that issue where they've copied something and then lost it, and it's caused a lot of issues. That's now solved. I can just I can run a command to show my. It's just really good. I highly suggest you look at it. I think I pay about $20 per month for it. It's really, really active, and I just stumbled across this app by accident. I've been using it for about 8 months now, I think, and it's just one of those things that is just integrated so deeply in my like day-to-day usage that I just completely like overlook it and completely forget like the importance of it. But it's just one of those things where if I lost it, I would really be quite upset. And just by hitting Command J from anywhere, from any application I'm in, I can just run a shortcut. It works just like Finder. I can open Chrome. I can attach a shortcut to it for any page that I want. So that is like. It's one of my favourite applications. But now, add on top of that, they've also added in shortcuts. I think this would have actually been even better, but unfortunately for them, Apple have just released their like shortcuts as well, which does the same thing. But I absolutely love Slapdash nonetheless. And yeah, look, you can also make your own text snippets here, like shortcuts maybe in like for programming if you want some to save some functions, like whatever it may be, for LinkedIn messages if you're frequently sending out the same thing, you can just add them in here. It's absolutely an app that you can't live without. Maybe it takes a couple of days for you to build the habit up of using it, but I just find I'm getting like deeper and deeper into their workspace. But anyway, the other point that I was going to make is they've now released what are called like commands. So for anyone who's comfortable writing scripts, who's a developer, you can attach a script onto any command. So like whatever you want to do, just like run script and it will run. I personally haven't set up any scripts as of yet because there's nothing that I run that frequently locally, but nonetheless I completely see the value in it. But what I have done is set up a call, something similar to what we just did with shortcuts actually, which will trigger an API call to Notion, and I can add in make more YouTube videos, and I can choose whether this is a task, a note, a project idea, a reward, or a resource. These are like the 5 key databases that keep my Notion system ticking over, and I'll make a video on all of those as well, because the Notion system is just, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's another thing that I couldn't live without, since I've just built on top of it so much, and my life pretty much revolves around what Notion tells me to do. So yeah, and if I run that, then it will be added in Notion. Hopefully I can show this as nothing too sensitive. Yeah, make more YouTube videos. That's now just been added in. So yeah, this is something I highly, just absolutely recommend that everyone checks out. You can attach links if you're frequently looking at Integromat URLs, whatever it is you're doing. Like, this is just, if you're using cloud-based apps, this is like a must-have, and it's very active. Like, they're continuing just to add in more features. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but this is 100%. In fact, if anyone from Slapdash watches this, reach out to me. I would be happy to do some marketing with you. I think it's a fantastic tool. And then on to the next one. So Slapdash is just like an incredible productivity app, but something else that I'm going to introduce you to that I really love is this is called Session, and it's a like Pomodoro timer. So you set the amount of time that you want to work for, you work in sessions, hence the name Session, and you basically, once I start it, it will start a countdown timer. You can sync it with like your calendar and all sorts of things. They haven't built an API yet, but I really wish they would. If I could sync my Notion tasks over here automatically, it would be amazing. But the other thing that they have, again going back to Apple Shortcuts, is whenever you start a session, you can link it with Apple Shortcuts, and whenever you end a session, you can link it with Apple Shortcuts, and you can also link it with scripts. There you see I'm using Slapdash again to open my scripts. What was the name of my automation? This is going to be somewhere. Open that folder. Here we go. So this is a script that will actually run whenever you start the session or whether you end the session, and you can write these out yourself, which I think is really cool. So what I've set mine to do is I tell Slack to quit, so I don't have any incoming messages, and that will last for like 25 minutes. And I also open application Spotify and tell it to play. And because Apple Shortcuts don't support Spotify, like they only support Apple Music, I also have an Apple Shortcuts that I run, which is and the other great thing is that it stays always on top. That's a new feature. It's optional, but I personally love it because it means that I can stay completely focused, so it will remain on top of any app even when I'm working on something else. So there was session start. Where's that gone? Session start. So I'll just show you the automation that I run. Bluetooth is turned on. We connect to AirPods Max, and we turn on the lights to purple. If you can see, my background light is purple now at the moment. We set Do Not Disturb on, and then when session ends, we also reset this, and I put the light as red, and I might actually change this light from purple to green. So it's just actually like an indicator of I'm using my time efficiently. If I'm doing this, it means I'm working on a task. So the light's green, I know that I'm working productively. If there's also anyone else in my apartment, I can just tell them, if the light is green, do not disturb me. In fact, maybe it should be red. And then also we have like the session ends. If you like, it's attached to like a smart light. Just so that makes sense. So it will change the color based on if I'm working or not. So if I end the session now, it will turn off, and it will go quite dark here. Yeah, and it will also open up Notion so that straight away I jump into like the next task, because that's where I store my tasks. But if you're linked on, if you're doing Trello, like whatever it is, you can tell it to open whatever application that you want. Session will also automatically take like a 5-minute break. Sorry, that's it starting. Session will automatically take like a 5-minute break as well. At the end of your sessions, maybe you want to go and get coffee or get tea or whatever it may be. So yeah, there's just another like productivity app that I really like. You can also go more advanced into like the calendar. I don't really want to show everything I've been working on, but it's a really good application, and it's included for free in something that I recommended before, which was Setup, which is like $10 per month. I think it's an absolute no-brainer, in my opinion. And you get all of these apps included. I think there's about 160 applications, like even just little things like Clean My Mac. There's loads of tasks. In fact, the question I'll get is, what apps am I using? So Text Sniper is assigned to a shortcut, Command E. I can extract the text from anything. So from an image, it will extract any text. Cloud Mounter, this is linked to Dropbox and SFTP server that I have, so I can drag and drop files locally, and they will automatically upload to Dropbox without me ever needing to open it. CleanShot I use every day, a fantastic screenshot tool. Table Plus database management. Code Runner I use every day as well. Session is the app we were just talking about. Switch, also a really nice app for connecting to things very quickly. Quittle I don't use, that can be uninstalled. Sizzy, amazing app for development. Noisio plays natural noises. Icon Jar I use every day as well. Torrent downloading. I can't even go through all of them. You can see I'm using about 30 different apps for like a $10 a month subscription. So the name is like Setup. I can put it in the description, but again, really, really good investment, and Session is included on that. I'll also link to Session directly as well. Yeah, other than that, if like, as I said, this is like the sort of direction that I want to push the channel in a little bit more, like working very smart, like more like sort of life hacks. So rather than just being limited to, it's very dark in here, let me put the lights on. Rather than just being limited to running like marketing automation, which like I still love making videos on marketing automation, but oftentimes I don't want to share everything as well, particularly because it can just go out to like competitors and so on. And if I spent a load of time working out some new like hack, I'm very excited about it and I want to, but put a video about it, like to sort of share it, but also I don't want it to like get out there until I've like fully utilized it and set it up. So yeah, this is like the direction that I'm more interested to go into. Like I can share the things that I'm working on without having to share, like this is just like helping to improve how you're working, right? And it's not taking away from from things that I'm working on. Whereas if I'm sharing particular growth hacks that I'm using for my companies and then competitors see them, it sort of takes away the advantage that I bring to the table because I'm just sharing everything. So I hope that makes sense. And I know I said that I'd make a few videos on these like side projects that I've built, and I will do. They're still in quite early stages though. And there's also an idea for like another startup that I've had as well, which is something, it's not Black Hat at all, and really I'm quite happy to document the whole process of me building the initial website, getting the first customers, setting up the team. It will be like a people-based business, as much as I said I'd never do that again. It's something quite interesting, and it would be like an API for virtual assistants. And in fact, now that these things on shortcuts are available as well, it's an even better idea. So basically, you would be able to ping over a task whenever you have something that needs doing. You can. It would be available on like Integromat. So if you need like a human to look over something, if you need human input on anything, on any small task, you can ping it over via an Integromat app, or using like an endpoint, just like we've shown here, like from shortcuts. So you could say, call Siri, for example, to send over a task, and it would be given to an application where there's hundreds of virtual assistants sitting behind it that will perform the task for you and then return you a response on Integromat once the task is completed. So it was just, I don't know, it's because I've got an actual use for it. I have so many tasks that are just very repetitive, and I think really most business owners do, but I haven't got the time to manage a virtual assistant, or at least I don't feel like I do, to train them on everything and handle the management, the payroll, like everything like that. So I was actually just going to set up a company to handle all of like the management as well, hire really good managers, so I can just ping over repetitive tasks that need a human input to an endpoint, and trust that they can get completed. So if it is something that you're interested in as well, let me know. I'm going to build it for myself regardless, but I can like document the process of doing so, and always interested to know if there's any if my subscribers feel it would be useful for them too. So this is more for the tasks that, I mean, some APIs are even very expensive to use, in fact. So it would be for tasks that require like a human input, and you don't want to build like some machine learning algorithm to do it, or you haven't got the time to build like an automation because it's too complex maybe. So let me know about that. Let me know your thoughts on these productivity things. Any questions, as always, leave a comment. I do respond to every single comment unless it's a silly question. Or unless I've missed it. But I, especially on the recent videos, I get back to every single comment. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.